Hi, I'm Alexis Schneider, and I'm a vocal music teacher at Ruby Van Meter School in Des Moines Public Schools. The effects of singing on the academic assessment performance of secondary students with intellectual disabilities. Teachers today are faced with increased demands on academic achievement and performance on standardized tests. They're always looking for ways to increase performance of students on academic assessment. The problem is how to increase academic achievement and performance on standardized tests. It's often suggested that music can be used as a tool to aid in this purpose. Music, specifically group singing, is a proposed solution to the problem. I selected this problem after reviewing the literature and thinking about what I could learn from my research and apply to my classroom. Music has an important role in schools, and I believe this research could advocate for music in schools, increase student achievement and performance, and positively impact the special education students I work with. The literature review framework. Many studies have shown the benefits of music through background music, music therapy, music involvement, and the benefits of singing. And these are all studies that I found. Just a few examples of the studies I found that show the benefits of music in these four categories. For background music, one example is Rogers et al. 2014 researched the influence of background music on problem behavior during assessment. And this researcher found that it had a positive effect on participants' behavior and that problem behavior was slightly less frequent with background music than without. Music involvement. Slater et al. 2014 found that music training was often linked with increased learning skills and academic performance, and investigated the impact music education had on reading levels. And so this study actually showed that the group that received music instruction maintained their reading levels, which was the positive effect, as the control group showed a decline. The music therapy. For this, there's an example by Kirkelly et al. 2010, who examined the effect music therapy has on the communication improvement and state trait anxiety inventory scale. And the results of the study found that the score was significantly influenced positively by the music therapy session. And finally, the benefits of singing is the fourth component of the literature review framework. According to Critch et al. 2003, singing had a positive influence on the emotional affect. And this was found by studying members of an amateur choir. And this compared a singing condition to a listening condition. The baseline you can see here on this slide, and it shows that singing is a more positive affect. And that's why I chose to focus on singing, in addition to the fact that I use it in my classroom. So the literature review, the gap in research. This research identified a need to further research how singing influences people in other settings, such as students in a special school for intellectual disabilities. While singing has been shown to have positive effects, limited prior research has been done on how singing affects the academic performance of secondary students with intellectual disabilities. And this researcher identified a gap in literature for understanding how music benefits secondary students with intellectual disabilities and sought to contribute to this gap. The objectives of the research question: how does group singing impact the academic assessment performance of secondary students with intellectual disabilities? And you can see the purpose of the study was to determine how singing a well-known song influenced academic assessment performance of secondary students with intellectual disabilities. There was no known prior research that investigated this specifically. The researcher might impact the field of study by bringing new insights. And as a practitioner new to this special ed school, I thought this research might advocate for music in these schools and positively impact. The methodology. The design of this study was ABAB, where baseline of math assessment performance was established and compared with treatment. The ABAB design was appropriate due to the small sample size. The independent variable was the singing of a well-known song prior to taking the assessment, and the dependent variable was the performance on the assessment tool. Participants included 5 11th, 12th grade students who attended the school at the study site, which is an urban secondary school serving students with intellectual disabilities from 6th grade to age 21. 100% of the students at the study site were in special ed, 40% female, 60% male, 49% minority, 68% free and reduced lunch. Participants were not recruited, rather a sample convenience was used, as the time approved included 5 students in the 11th and 12th grade music club. 3 of the 5 participants were female and 2 were male, and all 5 had significant intellectual disabilities. Participants did not receive incentive. The materials, a teacher-developed math assessment on rounding was utilized, and the math rounding assessment tool was developed by this researcher along with math teachers in the school. The assessment tool used in this study had 27 short answer questions on the concept of rounding. One sample question is, for each problem below, round to the nearest 10. 37 equals almost blank. Participants received a score ranging from 0 to 27. A soprano xylophone was also used, as well as the music and lyrics of the song were projected on the board. The data from the study was analyzed using Excel and the JAS statistical program. The research study began in the fall, and the study was conducted over 4 weeks. The design was ABAB, where baseline of assessment performance was established and compared with treatment. During the first week of the experiment, students received no treatment, and a baseline was gathered. They were given 15 minutes to work on the assessment and do as much as they could. Participants were told to do their best and that they were not required to finish all the problems. Participants received instruction in music class and received instruction in math class on rounding. In the second week of the study, the participants took the rounding math assessment with the treatment, which was singing a well-known song. So first participants sang the song, then participants were given the same assessment in the same procedure. In week 3, participants took the math assessment again with no treatment, condition A. The process from week 1 was repeated. Finally, week 4, participants again received the treatment, and the process from week 2 was replicated. Scores from the participants' assessment during the no treatment phases were used as baseline and were compared to the treatment phases in week 2 and week 4. Methodology, reliability, and validity. The research study was controlled. For example, all participants took the same assessment, sang the same song, and attended the same school. The repeat measured design increased the internal validity of the study. The data analysis. The research study was ABAB, and using the JAS program, the mean assessment scores for condition A and B were compared using the dependent samples t-test for both sets of AB and AB data to determine the effects of singing. The research hypothesis supported by the result was not supported by the results of this study. So the research hypothesis was not supported. The results here in Table 1 show t-test results for baseline 1, treatment 1, baseline 2, treatment 2, and baseline 1, treatment to treatment 2. So here you have the t-values, the p-values, and the mean difference. And you can see that these results do not indicate a significant difference or impact of the treatment. For Table 2, this table shows the mean and standard deviation. Baseline 1, treatment, baseline 2, treatment 2. So the means here, 5.60 is the baseline 1. To treatment 2, it decreases to 4. And so this does not confirm the hypothesis. The standard deviation, 5.86, 5.9, 4.87, 5.79 are high, which indicates a high variability in performance between participants. So what did I learn? The implications. The process of educational research and how to continually improve my teaching through this process. I learned that research is never finished and, in my case, does not always produce significant results. Much more research needs to be done on the impacts music has on students with special needs. How does your research relate? This study, as indicated in the literature review, was an area for further exploration and research. And here are just again a few sources that demonstrated a positive effect of singing. Now, no known prior research was specific to secondary students with intellectual disabilities, and this research sought to contribute to the gap. However, the results of this study did not confirm the hypothesis, but indicated further need for a larger scale study on the topic. Although statistically there were not significant differences resulting from group singing on a math assessment, it was still evident that some students thought the singing was enjoyable or relaxing. This may be something that's varied from student to student. And music may certainly have improved the environment for test taking for some students. The results of this study and the literature review can be used to educate classroom teachers and encourage them to try new methods and approaches that utilize music in their teaching. The results of this study did not indicate a significant difference between baseline and treatment test results. The research hypothesis was not supported by the results of this study. Limitations included sample size, limited time, restricted sample, range of math skills and participants, and assessment reliability. The sample size was the biggest limiting factor. Limited time also restricted the participants and sample size available for the study. A larger data set was necessary to get a better look at the impact of the treatment. The math assessment used in the study was also a limitation. Due to the school, a standardized test assessment was not used. Because the 5 participants also had such varying levels of math skills, the teacher-created assessment used did not measure progress accurately for some students. The assessment tool could have been more aligned with the instruction each student was receiving in math. In addition, the math assessment limited the research as it was not standardized. Some suggestions for future research. This study should be replicated with a larger number of participants and using the standardized test results instead of a teacher-created assessment for more reliability. It may be helpful to use not only quantitative research methods, but to also evaluate student performance and impact of group singing qualitatively. Suggestions for future research. Again, the topic should be researched furthering with a larger data set for more significant results. The standard deviation was high, which indicated high variability in performance between participants. For some students, this assessment may not have been appropriate for their math skills. This could also be a factor in reliability and significance of the results. Further research should utilize a larger sample size and a standardized assessment tool for further reliability and significant results. And here are the references that I cited and that I used in my presentation. So thank you for listening to my presentation. Please let me know of questions that I can answer for you in the comments below.